Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Madmen with a Box. Today, for our review of For the Doomsday and Doctor Who news. But before that, let's talk about my co-hosts. To my side, it's him. It's OZChris.
It's me. Long live Doomsday, my favorite multimedia Doctor Who story.
Fuck you. I forgot about that.
As did every Doctor Who fan.
But you had to remind me.
Yes.
If you look down there, speaking of forgetting things, it's Bizarro Jimmy. He shows up.
Jimmy's here. For anyone that was wondering why Jimmy's...
The opposite of Jimmy.
Jimmy is here. You can all stop complaining.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jimmy.
It sounds exactly like him.
That's exactly how I remember Jimmy. And finally, it is the Joe of the Corallos, Joe Corallo.
It's true that I am. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What news do we have to go through today? Okay.
Exactly what news?
About Doctor Who still? Is that the...
I thought we all moved on.
Yeah. Is it... Are we going to talk about which background character is clearly the Ronnie, the meddling monk, or any of that? Is that what we're doing?
No. No.
Yeah, there'd be a 4-hour discussion of who Mrs. Flood is.
Yeah.
Mrs. Who Gives a Flood.
Or Romana, maybe that. Maybe we can... Who's going to be Romana 3? We can...
Oh, another one? So we can add another Romana 3 to the mix?
Why not? Fuck it.
Yeah.
If anyone is unaware, which you might be, because I missed the announcement completely, the first story of the Centaurans versus Rootans storyline from Big Finish was released. I'm sure Chris has a review already ready to come out.
That I do.
But this is for the next story, The Children of the Future, featuring the Third Doctor, the Brigadier, and Sarah Jane Smith.
I love the image of John Pertwee directly above the Children of the Future. I love that.
I'm excited. I like Centaurans. I don't really care about Rootans.
Oh, Horror Fang Rock was such a fun story, though. Come on.
Horror Fang Rock is a great one.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites from that era of the post Pinecliff.
I skipped it back when I was a kid, when it was relatively new, because I wasn't warming to Leela. I didn't like the previous episode, I think it was. And then I only saw it for the first time maybe a year ago, and it's great. It's a great episode.
I really like that one. I think it's really underrated.
It is. I still don't care about the Rootans, though. Not going to make me care about them. I'm clearly on the side of the Centaurans here.
The potato people, I see.
Something simplistic in it.
I can't turn around. I can't turn my head.
I wanted to ride a horse. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited for this. Don't spoil anything, Chris. But was the first one worth listening to?
It's alright. It's fine. It's questionable why these are 4 separate releases when it could have just been one box set. Because there is a very clear arc that is going to be going through these entire stories. So it's like,
why do it?
Questionable why they're like, hey, you can just go listen to any story and it'll be fine. It's like, no, you can't really. Sure, 90% of it is its own thing, but the 10% is what's going to be connecting everything. But it's fine. There's Sontarans that think they're Romans. Centurions, the Doctor calls them. It's fun.
That does sound fun.
They legitimately believe that they are Roman. They're from the Roman Empire. They have actual Roman names.
I wish they would switch to illustrated covers for these. Like, just go ahead and let people go crazy with them. Like stylized. Like, who was doing Doctor Who comics for a while that was really good? Comics artist, Jack Staff artist. Who is that? I just like to see them have more. They don't need to be so realistic, I think. I'm gonna Paul Grist's Doctor Who art was so phenomenal. Or someone like that, something stylized, something more. I mean, not that this isn't well executed, because it is very nicely executed, and the Rutons look really great. But when we get into the people, it just looks like basically, I assume, is it clip art or is it painted?
It looks like PNGs just put there.
Yeah.
Sometimes
it's Sean Longmore, which I'm a big fan of his covers. So I like this cover, but like looking back at like their Big Finish's older stuff, it's like they're trying to be creative with the limited technology of the time. Yeah. So sometimes the simplest covers work the best. Like
this is really good composition and everything. It's not that it's not well executed, because it is well executed. But I would like them to see them move away from the hyper realism.
I think the problem is they have just the same cover artists on rotation, so that they're just being used for like every series.
The one who paints.
The one who does like the water paint, and then the War Doctor stuff they do is great. The audio novel stuff they do is great, but when they got to the Sixth Doctor stuff and they just use the same face for Ruth Madeley, it's like, this is just really not good. And then there's the second Doctor, the second Doctor box set was really lazy. Here's the Doctor, here's Jamie, that's the cover. It's like, really? That's the best you could do?
I love that John Pertwee looks like he's about to say splink.
Hello to Gervain.
Hey, Gervain.
Hey, gentlemen. How you doing tonight?
Hello.
Doing well.
We're just extending.
Happy New Year to all of you.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Oh, okay.
We were just extending a conversation about this cover because we only have like 5 tabs that I have open. We have to stretch this out for like
only 5 tabs, he says.
Only 5. He was lucky I posted some stuff today.
Pixel, do you know the Paul Grist Doctor Who art at all? You should look that up. Paul Grist did beautiful Doctor Who comic book work. A wonderful artist in general. That's the kind of stylization I would love to see.
Paul, what was that last name?
Grist. Paul, Grist. Doctor Who.
British comic writer. I'm looking it up now, just because I want to see it. Deal with it. No. This is thrilling, I know. Oh,
yeah, we're all really enraptured. I'm the one who started it, so I really can't say anything. But I'm not saying it isn't a well done cover. It is. It's you see this a lot with any kind of licensed work. I was pitching a Star Trek thing at one point, and I was working with Eric Jones, who had done these wonderful cartoony representations. We were trying to do a spin-off of the old Star Trek animated series, and the licensor is like, they want such photorealism that it takes all the fun and spirit out of it. A lot of the times you see that sort of thing.
Some of it's like really good. That I'm seeing. Some of it's a little weird. Like his Martha is a little, like odd. Just odd. But I suppose we should move on to our next article. What? Oh, this isn't the Peter Capaldi thing that I saw earlier. Chris. In an interview, of course, Capaldi's there. He played the Doctor. They're going to talk about Doctor Who a little bit. Yeah.
Yep, he says, I have to say it's a relief not to be in the middle of that storm. The role has a lot of other demands beyond just acting in it. It's a kind of circus that you have to do for days on end, but it's lovely to see RTD at it again. So just him reiterating again and again and again and again, he's not coming back. He is done with the role.
I saw something that really slow that was through a tweet earlier. Where he says in another interview that he likes to imagine that his doctor's still having more adventures. He's doing that, but he's not on TV. He has adventures out there. He's in the world that we're in today.
He could have adventures on audiobooks.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't care about that. He's basically saying, I'm done. Leave me alone. But in a whimsical way.
I think at this point he's just sick of people asking. Because that's all they're asking. It's like the same with like Christopher Eccleston. Whenever they ask him, like, why'd you leave Doctor Who? And he's always like, RTD.
With like, Eccleston, I get it, but Capaldi he used to be the leader of a fan club.
Yeah,
he should have known. He knew what he was getting into. He doesn't get to run from that.
I'm wondering why he's like so adverse to like doing Big Finish at all. Like,
it's his choice. Weird. He maybe just doesn't. I mean, he said he was just done with the role, so maybe he just means it. He's just done.
Yeah.
Just doesn't want to come back for the foreseeable future. I mean, he might decide one day I'll come back for like something, but
yes, but he's got. No, I'm not gonna make that joke. That's mean. That's mean to Christopher Eccleston.
If Capaldi comes back, it's because he genuinely wants to come back. This isn't a Christopher Eccleston where apparently it's all to do with the money.
I don't blame Eccleston. Sometimes it's about the money.
Yeah, sometimes it's about, at least be honest about it.
Yeah.
Him saying, "Oh, this is the kind of stories I wish I had in my series." It's just like a lot of the stories are.
Did he say
middle
that?
Of the road? Yeah.
Oh, well, he did also say he needed to feed his family.
Yeah,
that was his reasoning. So I feel like I only heard that bit.
Yeah, it was like in an interview he was saying this is the kind of storytelling I would want to see in my series, and it's like a lot of those are just kind of okay stories. They're not bad, but they're kind of middle of the road.
But there is a non-Taran story that's really good.
That's good. He has some really good stories, but then there's some others who are just like, that's okay, it's fine.
He rarely has a story that's bad.
He doesn't have, as much as I have gripes with the Ninth Doctor Adventures, like its stagnant state, I wouldn't say that it's like the worst thing in existence.
Doomsday. But, Capaldi aside, it does bring up a conversation about doing other things, and apparently Millie Gibson said that 2024 has probably more auditioning for her because the strike's over.
Yes, and everyone's now worried, oh no, she's going to be here in Doctor Who for only 2 series. Oh no, she's leaving the show. And it's like, do you guys not remember what David Tennant was doing aside from Doctor Who at the same time? They can do other roles. And considering the shortness of these series, like episode-wise, they got heaps of time to do other stuff.
I don't care about her. I just don't care. She was my least favorite part of the episode. She might win me over, but right now I'm just. I mean, it's very hard to come on the heels of Donna Noble and impress me. It is very. She is one of Catherine Tate. The energy, the fun, the comedic timing, and she's great at executing drama too. And so right now I didn't see anything that rivaled what I had just seen. So it's very difficult, very hard act to follow. That's not necessarily her fault, but I mean, I feel like 1 or 2 seasons will have a new one every time. So it's like,
It happens.
Yeah, especially contrasting after. I know we'll get into it more shortly, but after watching Tegan in For Doomsday, being like, "Oh, that's how someone should actually act in a situation like this," and not like Ruby, who's like, "Oh, whatever, it's fine." Like,
I think, and bearing in mind, let's be realistic. How many seasons do we think we're going to get out of Russell T Davies here? How long did he stay the first time?
At least 4.
At least 4. Has he said that?
He said he's planned at least 3 series. I think I can't remember if that was the exact number, but he said multiple series he has planned for the foreseeable future.
I would be surprised if he lasts more than 4. Yeah. And so we'll see a regeneration probably in that time. We'll certainly see more than one companion in that time. I don't think we'll get just these 2 for 4 years. That would be unprecedented at this point in modern Who. So 4 seasons, I should say. You might get more than 4 years if the seasons are spread way out. So we'll see.
Well,
it might be the same as his original tenure. He'll have maybe 2 doctors and multiple different companions. Oh no,
Uh-oh.
Joe!
No,
I'm here. It's fine.
Don't die, Joe.
Fine.
But yeah, I think maybe 3 or 4 series is what Russell will do. Considering he also he wants to do spin-offs as well, so maybe he has to devote his time to multiple things at once and just decide, okay, I'm going to have a break now. I've done what I've wanted to do, so someone else can have the reins. And you'll see people saying, Stephen Moffat again, please.
It's time for Moffat. Moffat 2, Electric Boogaloo.
As Sean says, RTD will need to stay to spearhead the Whoniverse, even if he lets go of Doctor Who.
He doesn't need to do anything. He can leave if he wants.
Yeah,
he's not going to.
I mean, he's spearheading it right now. And
in space?
He's older than he was the first time he did it. He had not always the best time doing it the first time. He said it was exhausting, as I recall. And I can't imagine he's going to have more passion and energy for it than he did the first time around. Not saying he won't do just as well as he did, but he's done it. He's already conquered this hill. So coming back to it, I just don't think I don't think we're going to see him longer than the first time. That would be surprising.
Well, I mean, there's different,
especially if he's. I think.
And this isn't a slight at him. I mean, just creatively, most people want to move on after a point.
And also, I think maybe them deciding to have shorter series may work to his benefit, so he's not spending as long doing it. So maybe that's why he was like, I have this many series planned. I want to do all these spin-offs, because he's probably thought, if I've condensed it, I have more that I want to do. So I don't get burnt out as quickly.
They pretty much have this first season in the pocket already.
The first season is done.
But none of that changes the equation of how long they would spend doing it.
Well, yeah. I think it's also a different situation, as in, because I feel RTD feels he has more control. Like he has more.
As Sean says, he has more control with Bad Wolf, his own production.
The BBC won't stop me now.
Well, unless you want to distribute your. But no, we'll see how it goes. We have yet to actually see this new series, so.
However,
we've had him brought back with 4 specials. We'll see how he goes with a entirely new series.
What were the ratings then?
That's what we're going to bring about next. The Christmas special was the second highest rated show of Christmas Day in 2023.
I think it was
called The Midwife ahead.
It was about 7 million. 7-point-something million.
That's decent.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Second place.
It's still lower than we usually see, I think, for the specials. I think the specials usually hit into the 8+ range. But of course, it's a big spring back from how far it had fallen, which was dramatically down, like into the 2 million category or something.
Yeah.
And of course, this is the first Christmas special since Capaldi's Two Doctors one. So
Twice upon time.
And then also we have streaming. That could also,
well, the streaming
would also
numbers
factor.
I believe, does this not include the streaming? Normally they do a release with the streaming figures.
I'll have to check.
I'll check right now. The ratings accumulator. All right, so the Christmas special combined had 7.49. That is a combined rating.
Okay.
I believe. With an audience index of 82. So the overnight views were only 4.7, but the then the plus 7 days and then the plus 7 days plus streaming. So plus 7 days was 7.26 and then total 7.49. So yeah.
And I watched it twice in that first night.
I too watched twice.
Did you ever get to say your thoughts on the Church of Ruby Road, Gervain?
What's that?
Did you ever get to talk about your thoughts on the Church on Ruby Road?
No, did not. No, I wasn't able to make it that night. I was knocked out.
If you want to talk about it a moment, I'm not going to tell you no.
I mean, I guess I'm not sure where they're going with it. What was that old lady at the end of Mrs. Flood or whatever her name was? I mean, that was intriguing, and I mean, I got nothing against the new guy. I guess I'll put it that way. But I guess I was I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And I guess when the highlight of the episode is me just showing the Goblin song to my daughters, I think that's about all I can say. Just to see the look on their faces as they go, "What?" But yeah, it was. It happened. That's all I can say. It happened.
I feel like that's been a bit of a consensus. It's wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst.
No.
I hate musicals.
It was not the Baja Blast of Doctor Who episodes, okay?
You know what? I think I speak for everyone on this panel when I say this was a better full story debut than the Twin Dilemma.
That's not particularly.
I think I'm willing to go out on a limb here. I would even say it's better than Time in the Ranny. I'm willing to say that.
Wow, really?
Yeah, not wrong.
You know, I don't care what anyone says. I think I stand by it.
I can do better. I think it's a better Doctor Who introduction than the so-called first episode of Doctor Who, the Daleks. Who's the Doctor? Who are these people?
They didn't explain it at all. They're just in this time machine. If only they'd done some show featuring this strange girl, this unearthly child that he traveled with. I actually
hang on. I'm getting a phone call.
The 11th Doctor's intro. In all seriousness,
the what child? Nah, that's not the first episode. An unearthly child. Never heard of it.
Damn, makes no sense. I probably like it better than the 11th Doctor's debut.
What?
No,
I didn't like the 11th Doctor's debut that much.
No.
I know. I'm the villain here.
Blasphemy.
There's no Jimmy. I have to be contrary.
Wait. You think Rose is better than Rose is better than this, but you don't think the 11th hour is better than this?
I did not enjoy the 11th hour very much. Now I love Matt Smith as the Doctor. I love both the companions from that episode, but I thought the menace, the villain, was never materialized very well. I thought the crack in the wall didn't really lead us to anywhere very interesting, just as far as foreshadowing went. It was fine. The only thing that was interesting about it was him meeting her as a young girl, and then, suddenly he comes back and he's lost 20 years or whatever. That was fun. But it was mid.
You sound like someone who doesn't appreciate a good fish custard.
I enjoy
custard that you dip fish sticks in, which I have had and is actually not bad.
I hate that you did that.
I feel bad for you.
I went to a local Doctor Who convention, and that's one of the things they served. I was like, yeah, I'll try it. Why not?
That's like those people that woman who eats every pizza that was ever mentioned in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Why?
Because some people are hurting.
Bizarro Jimmy acting like real Jimmy.
Yeah, right.
It's in the job description.
I can't imagine not 11th hour. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, the only way I go with it is I can see like the bits and pieces aspect of it, because the reason why I love 11th hour is just the Doctor, the way he introduces himself to the enemy, where it's like the whole thing of he's like, look at every threat this planet has faced, and and then it's like, and what stopped them, and it goes through all the Doctors and walks through, and to me that's what sold me on 11th. Yeah, I was struggling a bit up until that point. Then I was like, oh hell yeah, once that happened, and I think that's kind of the way. I think that's sort of like going to the new Doctor now, is that it was like something had to happen for me to like get on board with 11, and I think it happens with all the Doctors when the one goes away and the new one comes. You kind of spend that first episode saying, okay, why should I invest in this guy? And I guess for me with this new one, I didn't have that bittersweet feeling going into it, like, okay, make me love you, because I know the other one's still hanging around, and I guess and then there wasn't enough interesting stuff for the episode to make me think, okay, why should I buy into this guy? Well, at least with 11, it was just like, okay, this guy's dangerous. He's like, yeah, you come here, something's gonna happen. So, but yeah,
Sean likes this better than pretty much every New Who introduction episode except for 11th hour. Which, I did a retrospective review of The Woman Who Fell to Earth. It's actually a really good episode. It is. It's surprising. When you watch it on its own, it's a good episode. Everything else sucks.
Which one's a Woman Who Fell to Earth?
It's Jodie's first episode.
Yeah, 13. No, 13. It was good.
No.
Yeah, it was good.
No.
It is. Like, I didn't.
Okay, you know what lost me? What was that bit? Well, that bit where the tooth alien is like the tooth alien has like tortured and hunted this poor guy, and they're on some construction equipment, and this tooth alien just tormented this person. He's terrified, and he has a moment to strike back, and he shoves him off a girder or something, I don't remember, and the Doctor's like, how dare you didn't have the right. But the Doctor then blows the alien up, or had blown the alien up as well. It's like, what? No, why is it only you can murder people? Why don't stand there in judgment on this poor guy?
It wasn't quite that, because he survives. He's the big bad.
Yeah, I didn't watch anymore after.
It wasn't a very good established big bad, but
no, it wasn't. But he was. Yeah.
But we didn't know that in the first episode, and she didn't know it either.
Until he randomly comes back in the last episode. It's like, guys, remember this guy?
Sean is saying that basically he doesn't think any of these introductions are bad. It's just he really likes Church on Ruby Road, and I have to agree. I think
I hate a musical.
It was one bit, and it actually brings me to the next part, because Jimmy posted this, and I thought I'd go ahead and share it. The Church on Ruby Road, but it's written by Chris Chibnall. Goblin song start,
God.
And I'll start singing it. You can join in. Why are there cracks on the roof? Hi, Ruby's mom.
Jimmy humor.
That's
He's a comedian.
How is he a comedian?
Yeah.
Jimmy's doing what Jimmy does.
Where is he?
Doing stuff. He's gone.
What are you talking about? You're right here, Jimmy. Why are you asking where you are?
That's
Sorrow,
right.
Jimmy.
Yeah, Ben, to answer Ben's question, where's Jimmy at? He's right next to me.
Yeah. Jimmy's too busy being a sit-down comedian.
Oh my god.
Dang.
Okay. Speaking of bad, let's talk about 4 to Doomsday. Chris, start us off.
Man.
4 to Doomsday. What can I say about 4 to Doomsday? Not a lot, because it's not a particularly good episode. It's
Okay,
very.
so I wasn't imagining things.
No, it's a very. Now, this is Peter Davison's technically his first episode that he did, and it's kind of apparent in a few parts. It does really feel like that he's fresh. This is a fresh Doctor, which I kind of liked a lot. The actual story itself, the Monarch, it's not particularly strong villain. Neither is Enlightenment or Persuasion. I kind of just fell asleep on what the plot was, so I really cannot tell you. I literally just watched it this morning, and I cannot tell you what was going on. Although I will say it got a legitimate laugh out of me towards the end when the Doctor's like, Adric, grab that poison, I'm going to analyze it. And then when Monarch holds them at gunpoint, he just grabs it and just throws it at Monarch. I just thought that was so hilarious for some reason. Just the contrast of, I'm going to analyze this poison, and just throws it at the villain. But other than that, it's not a particularly good episode.
Peter Davison didn't enjoy the serial because he was new and didn't feel like he knew what he was doing. But I'm going to say that's fair, but he was actually the highlight. He has some genuine good moments.
Peter Davison's a very good actor.
Yeah.
Like he was very good as a Doctor. But I think I would be hard pressed to come up with a list of 5 episodes of his series that were very good. So unsurprisingly, this one was not great. And I don't know how ungreat it was because I didn't watch it since I haven't seen it since 1986. I didn't have time, so I'm just going to listen to what you all have to say.
I mean, I would say though, I don't know. I could probably come up with 5: Castrovalva, Earthshock, Enlightenment, Caves of Androzani, and there's honestly, I really like Black Orchid. It's an interesting little 2-parter that I think is actually pretty solid.
His final episode was fantastic. It's one of the best classic Doctor Who's for me. It is. There's so much I could talk about why that episode works. And Peter Davison filming that episode afterwards, he's like, if they were all going to be like this, I wouldn't have left. I'm paraphrasing. But he did say this. Like he left on a really good note, but man,
then it followed up with an equally great episode, Twin Dilemma.
But you know, those 4, and you could also put the 5 Doctors in there. And that's 5 right there. Like,
I mean,
and the 5 Doctors I know isn't. Those
you
are
named 5.
Yeah,
I'm not going to agree that they're all great, but you named 5. I will grant that.
No, but they're all solid stories.
I got to go ahead and meet Kevin McNally at the last convention I went to. He was selling his book. He wrote a book. I haven't read it yet.
All I'm going to say is, sorry, go ahead.
But no, he because I got to ask a question. I went ahead and asked him, what was it like going on Doctor Who for your? I was going to say second time, but he went ahead. It was actually my second time because My first time. I know. I was in the suckiest episode there ever was. Twin Dilemma. You fast. I know.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
Then I
But
reminded
no,
him the two doctors
about
existed,
Adric.
and he was like, "Yeah, that's like two."
About Adric is in real time when this episode aired in my region anyway. Everyone I knew who watched Doctor Who was so happy when that ship hit Earth with the Cybermen and Adric in it. It's like,
Jeez.
Adric in
I
this
had
episode
tried
is just downright not likable, which is just typically Adric in almost any episode.
no,
He's a real a-hole to Nissa and Tegan. Just sucks up to the Doctor, helps the villains.
Yeah, come on. It is Tegan though. Let's be real.
Hey, Australian, okay? Calm down.
You see, what Landry is saying right now is that, oh no, the Doctor's companion died. Yeah, but nobody liked him.
Well, that's all right then.
But no, I mean, for me, with Doomsday, like first off, part of this is the two Peter Davison stories that I've now been on here to discuss are easily two of the worst ones, Arc of Infinity and Fort of Doomsday. So it does feel like it's personal at this point for anyone his Doctor. I guess, after this, I don't even want to risk it by throwing out some of the other ones there. But
don't worry, Joe. You're in trouble when you hear somebody go.
You can guarantee if we get to it for a big finish review, you're coming on for Necromantia.
Great. Well, I was on for Spare Parts, and that's one of the best ones. But,
so we'll get one of his worst ones.
Yeah, no, wonderful, thanks. But the thing with this story is there's a lot to like about it, and yet it doesn't work somehow. Like, it's weird. Like, there's cute things they're trying to do. I'm glad they dropped the cricket ball stuff, but you could tell, like, in this serial, they were like, oh, he's gonna, because he uses the cricket ball like a couple of times in it. And, not just at the end with the throwing it for the momentum bit, but earlier he's like doing something where he like throws the cricket ball on the ground, and it's like, all right. The Monarch and the villains here, like, there's the villain plot and what they're doing is almost interesting. There are like moments where it almost works, but there's like a disconnect. There's something where it's like, I think part of it's the script, part of it's how it's shot. Like, it's hard to feel the stakes when they're just kind of walking around this. Like, I feel like they learned their lessons from what didn't work with the like walking around this ship with robots and the stakes and the end of the world, and they did it better with Earthshock. But like, you had that sense of impending dread. But here, we should have felt that. There should have been this sense of dread, and it never happens.
No, because it's interspliced with scenes of like, here's two guys wrestling on the ground.
Yeah,
here's cultural dancing, and it's like, this is just here to pad the time because there's nothing else in the plot.
This should have been 3 episodes, probably. Like,
this could have been 2 episodes.
Yeah, but like the Monarch is, again, it's like he's almost there. The villains are like, you just need something else to be there. Like, other Doctor Who serials have pulled this off where the villain seems, magnanimous and charismatic, and like he's trying to do all these good things, but shocking twist. He's actually trying to do these horrible things, and they've done that plot a bunch, and it's worked better before and since. But here, it's just like, again, it's like, part of it I think is also the designs. Like I think the Monarch, the green frog, like it's just not. He's not designed very well. There's just a lot here where I'm like, why can't they go like? It's written and done in a way where I'm never quite sold on why it's so hard for them to just get out of there. Like
I don't remember this Monarch guy at all. I don't remember him at all. It looks good.
So
What's that, Joe?
No, I was just gonna say there's and the squabbling with the different companions again, like a lot of it almost works. I think Peter Davison's really good in this story for his first full story, and I think Tegan really shines in this. I think she really sells her frustration in this story very well. But other than that, I don't think it really works. Like the supporting characters, like I get that they're kind of robots, but like so much of the supporting cast and the villains, like Monarch at least has like a cadence and he's got some charisma to him, but the other villains and the robots and all the background characters and the supporting cast are so bland and flat. It really doesn't help. Like you're like, I don't care about this like Roman guy that's like trying to help. He's terrible in this. Like it's just I don't know. It doesn't work on a lot of levels, even though this is a story we've seen a lot. It feels very much like a first season Patrick Troughton kind of story.
Joe,
You know,
I'm going to be honest. I think you have thought the most about this story than anyone here on this channel.
I was invited to this. I take this seriously. I watched it again. I put thought into it because I am guest on this program.
You do well. You do well.
I feel similarly passionate. I share his opinions.
You know,
Typical Jimmy didn't watch it. Just is going to coattail off someone else's opinion.
I just happen to agree with Joe. I knew I would. I didn't need to watch it. His opinions stand.
No, I feel like it's not really a stretch to be like Fort of Doomsday's not great. I think that's.
One of my favorite series that I've ever read in comic books is Shang-Chi. I love Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Shang. It was Shang for 30 years.
It was Shang for 30 years.
It was Shang for 30 years.
I used to, when I read those books, I would read the back of them, read the fan letters, because they had genuine Asian fans that were reading and writing and having a conversation about, okay, well, one of the things that I'm going to bring up is one of the characters, Blackjack Tar. He called Shang-Chi, he used the term Chinaman. And I read that series. I heard it more in this than I would see often in 5 issues of Shang-Chi. Peter Davis says, oh, well, I knew a Chinaman here. Oh, well, there was this one time. Well, hey, we get your point. Calm down. Yeah, at the very least, they didn't pull a talent.
You know, although while they didn't pull the yellow face of the towns of Wang Chiang, it's a better story. I think that's
It really is.
As problematic as quite a bit of that story is, the story itself, works.
And you get it's one of the better Leela story. You get those bits like, look, Doctor, blue guards and all that. So like, it's some cute stuff. And you get attacked by a giant rat puppet a couple of times. What more do you want from Doctor Who? And I love it. You just get the the giant rat screeching and the da 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 da. You just get to do that like multiple times because fuck it, it's 6 parts. Great.
Jermaine, do you have any like major thoughts about this episode or?
Well, first thing I'll say it's Ryu, not Dew, and it's just, I guess I agree with a lot, especially what Chris said. To me, it's like with Peter Davison in this particular group of companions. It always feels like a single dad driving in the car, and the kids are just always saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" And he's just like, "If you don't shut the hell up, I'm gonna drive this TARDIS right into the heart of that exploding sun." I don't. It's like I have never been a fan of Tegan, and this one didn't help.
No.
It's just like,
Yeah.
I think
she gets a much better performance in the next episode after this because it's Kinder.
Yeah, and I think I like older Tegan much better. I think this personality works much better with her as an old woman, as opposed to just this constant nag. But to me, I'm like kind of with Chris. I watched the episode and I couldn't tell you what it was about, what the stakes were. Couldn't remember who the bad guy was. All I can say about Idrik was, the misogyny is strongest one. I mean, that's probably the funniest part to me when he was just kind of like channeling his inner Al Bundy, and he was like, all you women to Tegan. But then when she says, "Well, what about Nissa? I'm a woman." It's like, you're not a woman. You're like a girl. I mean, it was just
girl.
It's
so weird that
like
for the Doctor at Adric is his most trusted companion.
You know what I'm saying? It's like literally.
I trust Adric the most.
Nissa,
it's so weird because it's like very clear, like in a lot of episodes, and then even in like Big Finish and novels, that Nissa is the better trusted companion because it actually works.
She's great. Like,
she's the stable middle child. Yeah. That's what it is. Adric's a young. He's like the Joseph from the Bible group. Yeah, one day I had a dream you guys were going to bow to me. It's like, let's kill this guy. And then you got Nissa, who's like, the Marsha of the group. She's like just always dependable in there, and nobody likes her either. And then Tegan is just like, it's like, I don't want to say entitled because it's not really entitled. I mean, she kind of didn't ask for this, but it's just like, it's kind of like other things going on right now, sweetheart. Can we just focus on the matter at hand? Yeah. And it's something where it's funny because I watched it blind and then I watched the episode itself. So sometimes I just like to watch it like I'm doing an audio drama. And it was weird because I at least 3 times throughout watching it, I had to turn my phone over to check because he kept sounding like 6 to me for some reason. I'm not sure why, but it kept sounding like 6. And I was just like, am I on the right episode, the right series? And I don't know if that's because 6 was mimicking him or, maybe I have to give 6 a little more credit. He figured he'd do like early Davidson to kind of ease the transition for all of us. But yeah, there's not, when Chris said what he said, I said, okay, I'm not imagining things. This was like probably one of the weakest Doctor Who's I've ever watched, where it's just like, I really couldn't find one redeeming quality about these 4 episodes. They're very forgettable.
I found one redeeming quality. It's when the Doctor tells Tegan, "No, shut up, stay here." And then,
but that's it. It's just the only thing that caught my attention was the misogyny, though.
I love him using his sonic. Like he used it like a wand. Really like a wand. And it was really like fantastic, and he makes it look like it's spinning, and that was great. Like, and then it goes away. How many episodes?
So, yeah, the bits, because when it's Kinda, then Visitation, that's when he loses it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interleptals. Never to be seen again.
This isn't it. It's not great. when I think about episodes that are like they're shot out of order. You have one like this. 11's first episode that he taped was the Angel 2-parter with River Song.
Yeah.
Really?
And yeah. But that was a good that was a good set of episodes. This was not.
So that makes me surprised at the 11th hour then, because with the 11th hour, even though I liked it, yeah, that's a little. Yeah, I'm a little crestfallen after that, hearing that. But go ahead.
All we could do now is give ratings, really, because I've said pretty much everything that can be said. Joe said the most out of all of us because he found he found the silver lining.
He really likes it.
No,
we're gonna see some like weird revisioning of like, it's like when there's a really bad film and then like a couple of years later, like there's weird revisionism of everyone's like, actually, this was actually a Shakespearean masterpiece. Like, what was everyone thinking 2 years ago? We're gonna get that with Fall to Doomsday next year. We're all gonna decide, actually, you know what? This is art.
You know what we did get though over time, and I'm sure like Jervain and Landry are probably watch this happen. You two kids, I don't know, but I got to watch like in real time as people went from, oh man, like it really went downhill with McCoy to this revisionist, like, oh my God, I love McCoy and Ace so much, and it's so great seeing it back. Oh my God, they were the best. They really were great. And like, I remember when you were shitting on McCoy like a decade ago or 20 years ago at this point, and now all of a sudden it's like, I wish we'd get more of that, like McCoy and Ace, and that was the best. Like, what the fuck happened? Like, so.
Well, in my defense, I always like 7. Always.
Sure.
Liked them.
Sure.
Always.
No, I get it, but I get that, and there were people who.
But I know what you're saying.
But yeah, I have seen that with some people, and I'm just like, I remember.
It's not like you said he has 1.5 good seasons.
Yeah, but I think part of
like it.
I think part of why 7 became great was because I still think, this is my opinion, it wasn't so much the war. It's that it felt like so much of the new modern Who was drawn on that darker part of Doctor Who from 7. So I mean, even 10 shitted on him.
Yeah.
He's just like, I never liked that guy. So I think that there was the idea. And look, the chick beat a Dalek to death with a baseball bat. I mean, you can't beat that. Literally.
It's like I'm not gonna lie, that's probably the only episode that I can really say that I liked.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying. Anybody
remember Happiness Patrol? You don't like the Happiness Patrol?
You don't like Greatest Show in the Galaxy? You don't like
Dalek,
Curse of Fenric?
Baseball bat.
I love
like
the Greatest
Fenric.
Curse of Fenric is great.
I barely like it.
My favorite thing about the Greatest Show in the Galaxy is just out of left field in the last episode. They're like, "Oh, it's the gods of Ragnarok." Like, what?
Not gonna lie, that was funny.
Like, what? I don't know. Okay, sure.
This mother, father, and son that just sit there watching the show. Boom.
Curse of Fenric, though.
No, I don't like Delta and the Bannermen. You can take that.
We have reviewed this. It is a mess of an episode that had ideas, but the messiness got in the way.
Yeah.
Not in a Sylvester McCoy story.
I know. Like
McCoy was immortalized when the man said he started talking people into killing themselves. That's like that makes you just want to go back and say, even if it's terrible, look, I got to see what this guy's about. I mean, that's what it was. It was, and nobody. You're right, Joe. Nobody thought that about the time about McCoy. Oh, this doctor's so cool. He's talking people into killing themselves. But the thing is, it's like, it's because I've always pushed the theory that 10 was sort of a soft reboot of 7, and that especially in the darker times, and that 11 was sort of like this is where 7 could have gone if the series hadn't gotten canceled way back when. But that's just my little theory. But you're absolutely right. I mean, with this one here, it's just like, I mean, because you even kind of get that sense with some people, they're trying to do with 6, but they're just not quite getting the finish line. They're trying to rehabilitate that character through revisionist history.
Yeah.
So when his greatest achievement was a clip episode, the longest clip episode in the history of clip episodes. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, no, like survival. I view survival as this contamination, this humiliation.
Hate it.
I
hate it so much.
Pixel hates survival with passion.
I guess you just hate furries.
I do.
Yeah.
I do hate furries. I'm sorry.
Pixel, I'm with you on this one.
Sorry. The survival is just the cheetah people. Please, why? No. God, I wish they would run off into the sunset and go the hell away forever. And they have. Thank goodness.
So, Joe.
Ratings.
Rating. I want Joe's first.
You know what?
Out of 10.
I still like positives. It's only 4 parts.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. It could be worse. There are only 4 parts. Peter Davison, I think, still, good. There's some good ideas in here. There's something, I like the crowded TARDIS sometimes. Ben, Polly, and Jamie. There were some fun things there, but that also is filled with some not great stories. Some might argue most of them, but I'm gonna give it a 4. Like, it's definitely below average, but there are still like a couple of things in it, and I like Peter Davison, so I can feel like, I'll give it a 4 out of 10.
Gervain?
Well, in the spirit of revisionist history, and the fact that one day, perhaps a year from now, we will all rethink this and score it higher than today, I'm going to give it a negative infinity. So that way it would truly have nowhere to go but up. I have never watched the Doctor Who episode where I couldn't find one thing about it. And this was one of those, but negative infinity would be my score.
Sure.
Chris, you never gave us your score. Come on.
All right. I'd give it, it's below average. I'd give it a 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
Like,
that's perfect.
There's some stuff that could work. It just doesn't.
Yep.
It could be worse.
It could be worse. There's worse.
Could be negative infinity.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know if there's worse. Actually, I don't know. I'd have to watch it again. I was going to say it's the worst one that season, but it might be Time Flight. I'd really have to think on it.
I think you might be right.
Like, it's definitely one of those.
That is a real case of Androzani to Twin Dilemma. You go from Earthshock to Time Flight. Oof.
Yeah, it's rough. And again, that's one that there are really cool ideas in there, like the master reveal halfway through and all that, but boy, did they do it. It's like they went out of their way to be like, what if we got a really cool concept and did everything we could to make it a miserable experience?
Doctor Who's never done that before.
Not my doctor.
I'm going 3.5. I somewhat agree. There's some things that weren't absolutely terrible, but there's nothing good here. There's nothing like really solid here. It's just a chore. This week was a chore, and that sucked. That sucked. But I can't say it's the worst Doctor Who I've ever seen. You know, that's reserved for other things.
There's something weird about this. Like for those of us who watched it, wasn't it weird that there were some moments where you're watching it and you're like, I don't think anything's happened, but like 10 minutes have gone by.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. I don't know what like. Was I supposed to be following something? It's like, and I'm like, I didn't take my eyes off the TV, and I'm like, did I miss something? I feel like I missed something.
I actually rewound an episode. Like I was like a quarter of the way through. I was like, has anything happened? I restarted it. I started the theme and everything. No, nothing happened. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's you know, but yeah, I mean,
classic.
The there were no errors in the title sequences. That's always good.
It's not the best Doctor Who theme, though.
It's not the best Doctor Who theme, but it's not the worst Doctor Who theme.
It's an okay theme.
That's right. It doesn't sound like a white noise machine.
It's right down the middle. Well, luckily, the episode also found time to really annoy you by having a multi-minute scene where the sonic screwdriver just had to make a buzzing sound to so that way the monarch wouldn't hear what they were saying. And I'm glad they decided that instead of him just using the sonic screwdriver to cut out the communications for a minute. Why don't we just annoy the viewer instead? That's better. It's the better choice.
Careful, you're almost going to make me go down to a 3.
No, but it's like they just do these sort of things. It's like, oh man, there are so many things that John Nathan Turner in his vision for Doctor Who was passionate about and nailed. And then there's so many things early on, like little decisions like that you see where it's going. And
yeah. Anyway, we want to thank you so much for watching our review.
Hey, what about not?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Bizarro Jimmy, you want to give a ranking for an episode?
I have an opinion. I have opinions. I have my own thoughts and feelings here. All right.
Literally just stole Joe's.
Negative infinity. Negative infinity.
That in its defense, it was only 4 episodes.
Yeah.
And that Peter Davison's good. It's always good to see some Peter Davison. And having multiple companions crowded in the TARDIS was not terrible. It reminded me of Ben Polly and somebody, Jamie. I have opinions. You should ask me. I liked when Adric had to wear the space shoes that the Doctor reprogrammed. That was good. And when Nyssa was turned into an apparition for an episode, was all right too. These were good things. You know, they did a good callback to the Doctor's scarf when they were dangling from the TARDIS when it was going through the wormhole. I like all those bits.
We want to thank you so much for watching Madmen with a Box. Please like and subscribe.
I think that was delivered in true Bizarro style. Me love for it to Doomsday.
It was. Thanks. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll be back next week for more Doctor Who, and Landry will have more opinions.
So many.
Who's Landry?
Oh, sorry, Jimmy.
Bizarro Jimmy.
Bizarro Jimmy will have more opinions. Goodbye. Good night. ALLONS-Y.